What's up, guys? So what is a business entity and how do you know which one to choose in private practice? When I first started in private practice, I had no idea what a sole proprietorship or an LLC was, so chances are you might be in a similar place. Well, no need to worry. I'm going to break down each of these entities so hopefully you feel equipped for how to move forward in private practice. Y'all, I'm a frugal lady, but every now and then I need to splurge on a $5 oversweetened coffee in order to feel good about myself. But what's the deal with the Christmas cups? It's early November. Welcome to Private Practice Skills. I'm Dr. Marie Fang, psychologist in private practice. I post videos offering tools I learned the hard way about starting and growing private practice so that you don't have to. Thanks to all of you who voted for this video topic on Instagram. I'm so glad you voted this way, and it makes sense to me because honestly, it took me forever to figure out this stuff when I was starting out in private practice. If you're not following me on Instagram, be sure to do so because I like to give lots of opportunities for you to help facilitate what kind of content shows up on this channel. Super important disclaimer. I am neither an accountant nor an attorney. I'm just a therapist sharing some of my thoughts and feelings with you all. So if you're in need of legal or accounting services, be sure to seek the help of a professional to do so. So what exactly is a business entity? It's a legal categorization of your relationship with your business for tax and liability purposes. So I like to think of it as kind of similar to a relationship status, but with your business. So think of your relationship status as an example. If you are married, you can file your taxes jointly, and you can also get some different tax breaks together. But if you're cohabitating and not in a civil partnership together, you have to file your taxes separately. It's a bit similar with business entities. This label will help IRS know what kind of relationship you have with your business, and it affects your taxes and liabilities accordingly. There are an array of possible business entities that you can enter into. However, there are two that are most common in solo private practice: sole proprietorships and limited liability companies. I personally believe that filing as an LLC is the best option, and we're going to get into the why behind that in a second. But I'm going to pause for a second because I live in the state of California, and y'all, if you live in the state of California and you are a therapist practicing in private practice, you cannot file as an LLC. I want to file as an LLC so bad, but because I'm practicing in the state of California, I can't. And if you are living in California as well, I'm so sorry. It is a bummer even to film this video to realize I can't do the thing that I'm advocating for. Nonetheless, I hope this video is helpful to those of you who don't live in the state of California. Okay, let's explain the differences between sole proprietorships and LLCs, as well as some of the pros and cons for each of them. So first, a sole proprietorship. This is kind of like the default business entity. I mean, if you're licensed to practice as a therapist in your state and you obtain a city business license to work in your city, then boom, automatically you are a sole proprietor. There's no extra paperwork to fill out and there's no fees. Just keep track of your income and file your taxes appropriately. It's getting darker outside. I think can I fix it? If you are a sole proprietor, that means legally you and your business are the same entity. So when your business makes income, it's the same as you personally making income. The two of you are seen as one unit. The pros of being a sole proprietor are that it's easy to manage, there's no additional cost to file as a sole proprietor, and there's no additional taxes to pay above and beyond your typical income tax. The major con of being a sole proprietor is that you are held personally liable for all of your business dealings. So if someone sues you for something that you did in your professional capacity, they can go after your personal assets. They can go after your home or your car. They can go after your retirement. So things that are happening in your business income world overlap with your personal assets, and people can get at that when they sue you. This is a huge con. Now, when I first started out, I thought that liability insurance meant that it covered all that stuff, so no worries. But you have to keep in mind that there are exceptions to what liability insurance can cover, so make sure you read the fine print. And if you lose a court case, even if you weren't in the wrong, you could still lose, and they can go after your personal assets. Next, let's talk about limited liability companies, or LLCs. LLCs require an application process which could reasonably be done within a day or two. In contrast to being a sole proprietorship, when you file as an LLC, you and your business are viewed as separate legal entities. Pros of LLCs, as the name states, limited liability. Yes, so that problem from the sole proprietorship is eliminated as an LLC. That means if somebody sues you in your professional capacity as an LLC, they can't go after your personal assets. Similarly, if someone sues you personally, they can't go after your business assets either when you're an LLC. The second pro to being an LLC is the taxes. One of the major benefits of being an LLC as opposed to the various other business entities that offer limited liability is that you don't have to pay double taxes on certain items as you do in a corporation, for example. When you become an LLC, you can request to file taxes as a pass-through entity, which basically means it's like you're filing as a sole proprietor, but you are keeping your business and your personal life totally separate at the same time. It's a win-win situation. Cons of being an LLC, honestly, there is a bit more upkeep here. So in addition to the initial application process, you're going to want to make sure you keep all of your assets of your business and your personal assets completely separate to show and prove that those two items really are separate entities. The problem is if something happens in a professional capacity and someone decides to sue you, if there isn't a hyper-diligent paper trail showing that your income is totally separate from your personal assets, then they can actually pierce the corporate veil, which is fancy jargon to say, well, even though you said you're an LLC, effectively you're not practicing like one, and so they can actually still find a loophole to get after your personal assets. So it's important as an LLC to keep your professional assets and your personal assets completely separate. Have separate bank accounts. When it's time to get paid, cut yourself a paycheck. Don't just deposit client checks into your personal banking account, because when push comes to shove, someone could still find that loophole and go after your personal assets. You also need an employer ID number as an LLC, but I think this is a good idea as a sole proprietor anyway to protect yourself. I'll have to get into that in a future video. For those of us who live in the state of California and don't have the option of filing as an LLC, it is an option to become incorporated and reap some of those benefits of limited liability. However, becoming incorporated is much more involved than filing as an LLC. And so I might have to just save that item for a future video. If you do some research and you find yourself stressing about this, no need to worry too much. You can always choose one and then change business entities later. Well, I hope you found this video helpful as you try to decide what business entity to pursue in private practice. Until next time, from one therapist to another, I wish you well. If you're wondering about the change of scenery today, I'm in my office. Welcome. It's a nice place to be with my beverage.